Okay, that means we have to start. Since it's a small room, I just want to know how many of you are working in an international setup in your work team. Like you have colleagues internationally. Okay, almost. That's good. Welcome to the presentation, Tulips to Turmeric, Lessons Learned from a Global Team. Let's start with a story. This is Tom. Tom is an engineering manager in somewhere in Amsterdam. Do we have a Tom in the room? No, great. So this is his team, the happy team of developers who is working from Amsterdam. One day, Tom got a new big project, okay? And he was really happy because it's going to give him a lot of revenue. But there is a catch. He need to do the project in 6 months, okay? Tom started thinking, what can I do? My current team, yeah, they are good, but they cannot do it on time, okay? And he found a good solution. He hired a new team. He partnered with a company in India and he hired a new team in India. So now Tom is having two teams, team 1 in Amsterdam and team 2 in India. Both are good developers, okay? Both of them are really good developers and they started working in the project. So what happened to that project? How many of you think they were able to deliver it on time? Just give a guess. Oh, my God. So you don't trust? Okay. So this was the end result. Okay. They both are good developers. Okay. Both teams are really good. So they build it perfectly. Okay. But they fail to collaborate. So that's the end result. This is a very common scenario in many of the big organizations. And I'm sure that you all are familiar with something like this. So in this talk, I will explain about global team models, why companies opt for global teams, and I will also help how to be productive in global team. Also at the end, I will give you a bonus tip. So before starting the presentation, I'm a Java chapter lead at ABN AMRO. I live in Thiel. I'm originally from India. Now I'm living in Thiel with my wife. She's also here. Thanks for that. I like cycling and I'm a casual gamer. So let's take a look. What are the different global team models? First one, offshore model. Okay, in this model, this is the most common model I see in Netherlands. Okay, and in this model, for example, Netherlands, we go to a country which is in Asia. In this example, it's in India. Also, there are Philippines, Vietnam. So we go there and hire a company to support our project. Fun check. Anybody wants to guess the population of Netherlands and India? Yeah.
18 million.
Netherlands, 18 million, okay.
India, 1.2 billion.
Close enough. It's 17.5, maybe it's 18 already, and it's 1.4 billion India. That's a huge difference. Yeah, that's a big difference. Next model is nearshore model. This is also similar to offshore model, where we, instead of going all the way to Asia, we go somewhere near Poland, Romania, Portugal. So what's the difference here is like the time difference is less. Maybe the culture is also more aligned. Okay, so I'm not going to ask the population here. Let's go for the next one. This is something new. Ally Shore, okay. I learned about it very recently. It feels like we are in a war or something, but no. It's kind of finding a country or working with a country where your political views are aligned with them. Okay, so that the changes in the political, global politics won't affect your delivery. So, why companies are doing this? That's an interesting question, right? Why company? What's the promised land here? Cost savings, more cost savings, a lot of cost savings and some other benefits. A larger like I'm not joking. You can hire a developer with 3 times less money from India. So it's actually cheaper if you are in a really tight budget. It actually works. And yeah, if you are in a hiring market, you know how to find a developer, how difficult it is to find a developer in Netherlands. So if you are going out of Netherlands, you are open to a bigger labor pool. You can find a lot of talent. And you can also, like, yeah, by theory, you can go faster to market because there are more people working around the clock. So, what happened to the promised land? Few succeeded, few failed, and few are still experimenting. They're still trying out different models. So, as a developer, what we can do? You can always quit your job, right? You can always quit your job and find something in Netherlands. That's an easy solution. No, don't do that. There are other ways. I really like working in a global team because it gives opportunity, a lot of opportunity to people who are working in different countries, give them to work in an international environment. So let's take a look. How can you improve? Break the cultural barrier. I believe if you communicate properly, if you are able to understand each other, that's a key. That's a key for collaboration. So now I will share some examples where I compare Indian culture with Dutch culture, and we see the differences where we can do this. First, take a look at this one: hierarchy and respect. Okay, in India, respect is directly proportional to hierarchy. If you are above the hierarchical chain, you get more respect. Okay? So it's all start from the family. When I was a kid, I was not allowed to question my parents. Okay? Whatever they are saying, it's right. So I was never allowed to question them, and it carried away. But in Netherlands, why is one of the first words a Dutch kid is learning? So it's a huge difference. Punctuality. Let me tell you a story here. One of my friend, a few years back, he was looking for a new job. And he went for a new job. He got an interview and he went for that interview. And he reached there late. Okay? And interviewer asked him, why are you late? Okay? And he said, my punctuality depends on Indian Railway. That's true. In India, trains are running like 3 hours, 4 hours delayed. You cannot never plan. You cannot plan your day. Here, actually in Netherlands, you can plan your day by minute if you want. Side note, now in India, we are getting good fast trains, and NS has become terrible by day. So maybe in future I will have a different story to tell. Work culture. Here in Netherlands, we work with hours. Okay, we always have a fixed hour contract. But in India, the things it's different. There is no concept of hours. Okay, we go home when work is done. It's so common to have long hours at work. People are nodding. Sorry? Yeah, work never done. So you are screwed. I was really surprised to learn recently that my neighbor is only working 24 hours a week so that he can spend more time with his kids. What a beautiful thing to do, right? It's totally unimaginable in India. That's totally unimaginable. Food. I really like food. So, question: how much time it will take to prepare a Dutch sandwich? 1 minute, 2 minutes, or if you're really fancy making an omelette with it, then it's 10 minutes, right? But for making an Indian meal or any other Asian meal, it will take minimum of 1 hour. Okay, then washing the dishes, yeah, forget about it. And eating food, okay? That's also funny thing. You can eat your Dutch sandwich while you're walking at your desk, cycling, but you try to do it with an Indian curry. Okay, and let me know how it feels. Okay? So, next time when your Indian colleague or Asian colleague tells you, I want to make lunch, don't expect them to come back in 2 minutes. Okay? Let's go for the next one. Communication. Communication style. Each individuals are different in their communication style, and that may, when you are working in a global environment, it makes a lot of trouble. Okay. For example, long back, I was working with a team, and the product owner, my product owner, he was a Dutch guy. He went to my Indian colleague and asked, when can you finish this work? Okay, my Indian colleague, he said he know that the work, he cannot finish this work on this particular time, but he cannot say no also. And what he said is, yeah, I can finish this on this time. Okay, that is a common slang in India where we think, it might work. I know that I will try, but it won't get finished. But what my Dutch colleague heard is, yeah, that is yes, and he will finish the work. Okay, then you can imagine what happened. There is also another story on this about funny communication. This shared by one of my friend in the Java community. Okay, their team is also working in a global environment. Half of the team is in Netherlands, and half of the team is in Chennai, and they work in Scrum. And what they are doing, one day they are doing their retro. Side check, who likes to do retro? Good for you guys. So this team is doing the retro, and the theme is weather. Okay, first column is sunny weather, and the second column is rainy day or rainy weather. And you ask, for the feeling, for the last sprint, you need to put your points on these two columns. And all the Dutch colleagues put their points or their name on the sunny column, and all the Indian colleagues put in a rainy column. Okay, poor Scrum Master, he was surprised. Okay, what is this difference? This is surprise. And the Scrum Master went to the Indian colleagues and asked, what happened? What really happened? What went wrong on the last sprint? And the Indian colleague got surprised. Huh? No, it was a good sprint. I really enjoyed that sprint. Okay, then why you put it in the rain? I live in Chennai. It's 40 degrees Celsius throughout the year, and I really like a rainy day. So for me, a rainy day is good. That's how you communicate. If you don't communicate to collaborate, that's how it is. Next, openness. Have you ever asked your Indian colleague, how are you? Have you ever asked? I'm sure that most of the time you will get the answer, I am good, thank you. Right? I was also doing the same for a lot of time. Okay, and I went back. I realized, okay, why I'm doing this. I went to my school. It's gone to my school days, and when my English teacher, English is not my mother tongue, so my English teacher, when she was teaching us this, she taught us that if somebody asks you how are you, you say I'm fine, thank you. Yeah, what a stupid thing it is. If somebody is asking how are you, you just say how are you feeling. Not a fixed answer. That's how we are open. That's how we are open in politeness. You said in India or in any Asian country, we try to be overly polite. Totally depends on the hierarchy. Where are you in the what's your position in the hierarchy? But we try to be polite a lot. Don't mistake it. Okay. Next one, fun. Who likes to have fun at work? I do. I really want to have fun at work, but be very careful when you're having fun at work, because something fun for you won't be fun for others. I will give you an example. In our team, when somebody joins new, we always ask, what's your guilty pleasure? Okay, we always ask that question and we will get some funny answers. But we were having an interview with an Indian colleague and we asked this question. Okay, that person started crying. That person started crying because he totally misunderstood the question. He's not familiar with that question and he's totally misunderstood, and he was thinking about something happened in his family and he started that interview went terribly wrong. So next time when you are making fun or a sarcastic comment, make sure that you are being inclusive. Next one, psychological safety. How many of you are aware of psychological safety? Oh, good. A good number of people. Psychological safety is an environment where people feel free to express themselves without any fear of negative consequences. You can notice it in team meetings. If somebody is really silent, okay, if somebody is not responding in any of the calls, they might not be feeling psychologically safe. Go talk to them, try to understand, make sure that they can speak. Okay. I'll tell you another story. A few years back, I was working in a project and we did a deployment. We did a production deployment and it went terribly wrong. Okay, and we noticed it late, so some other teams are affected, but then we found the issue, we fixed it. End of the day, everything was fine. Next day, I got a meeting invite. It's called retro. Some people call it retro, some people call it root cause analysis, and some people call it postmortem. I really hate that word, it's scary. So I went to that meeting, and the moment I went inside, I realized that's the worst mistake in my life. Okay, people started pointing fingers at me. Okay, why you did it? No, that's not the way to do it. Okay, make sure that it's okay to make sure your team members are able to make mistakes. If you are scared of making mistakes or your team members are scared, you will never innovate. You will never make a production change. So make sure that, it's an open space in your team where you can admit mistakes. Asking for help. If you are a senior developer, it's always difficult to ask for help, right? You always think, what will happen if I ask for help? Will they consider me as senior anymore? Yeah. Don't think that. It's okay to ask for help. Okay. According to me, if you ask for help, you are actually setting a good example for others. But it's okay. If you need help, it's okay to ask help. Don't worry. Just ask. Let's go. Next one. Feedback. Feedback can change everything. Okay. Feedback is really good. Ask for feedback. Give feedback. So, if you don't understand the bigger picture, why you are working, then for you, everything is just a user story. Okay? You only think that I need to move this task from this side of Jira board to that side of Jira board. That's it. The moment I realized I work for a project where we help Dutch colleagues or Dutch people to make their payments easier, then everything changed for me. How I work changed. So try to understand the bigger picture. Feedback can help you on that. If somebody is not understanding, not on the same goal, give them feedback so that they can be also aligned with your goals, with your company's goals. Poor output quality. This is fun. Okay, I will share another story. This one is shared by one of my friend, also from Java community. He is a freelancer. He is working on his own project. So he wants some help. So he went to internet and found some site where help is given. Or he found a guy from India who can work for 2 euros per hour. Okay, for 2 euros. And my friend, okay, I'm a freelancer and this is good. Yeah, it's really cheap. It's literally a croissant. Okay, for an hour. So he went. He agreed, and everything went fine. Next day, this guy started, and the first question this guy asked is, "How can I edit a test file?" Okay, that moment my friend realized, okay, he got screwed up. So I don't know whether feedback can save my friend, but if in your team somebody is not performing well, give them feedback. Don't wait for end of the year. If you see it, if you notice it, and if you are not sure how you are performing, ask for feedback. Ask for feedback. Always ask for feedback. Don't wait. Motivation. If you some cultures, motivation is really important. We like to have appreciation. Okay, in Dutch culture, it's not that common. Appreciation is not that common, and even if my friend says like I went to moon and came back, and yeah, it's just my job. So in some in Indian culture especially, we like to be appreciated. If you did a good job, I like to be appreciated, or you like to be appreciated. We like to be appreciated. So put some effort, give some good feedback, and motivate appreciation so that you can motivate your colleagues. So, how many of you played the battleship game, Sea Slag? How many of you are? Oh, great, almost everybody. So it's a game, for those who don't know, it's a game where you need to, there are 2-player game, where you need to sink the ship of your opponent by guessing the number, okay? Try to play that game without a feedback. For example, you put, selected a number, and you don't know whether there is a ship on that number or not, that position. So if there is no feedback, it's terrible to play that game. So feedback can help you to adapt fast. Give feedback. Bonus tip. Don't take anything for granted. What that means. I have seen my colleagues saying, okay, we have this offshore team. We have this nearshore team who can work on weekends, who can work on evenings. Don't do that. They might be agreeing for that because of their cultural problems or because of work situation, but don't take it for granted. If you really want weekend support, make a plan, make a rotation plan. Try to do it rotationally so that the Indian colleagues or the nearshore colleagues, they can also have their evenings and weekends. Right? Also, next time when you create a meeting, also check the time zone. Okay. If you create a meeting at 4 p.m. In the afternoon, Dutch time, that is already 8:30 in India. Okay. Check the time zone, it's so easy. So, this one, last one, I really like this one. Say no to unrealistic deadlines. Do we have business people here, managers? Oh, no. That's good. For business and managers, it's always fun to create a deadline. They don't know anything about IT, and they say, in this date we can deliver this. Terrible. Terrible, right? Say no to them. Say no to unrealistic deadlines, because you are the developers and you know how much time it will take. So if don't agree for an unrealistic deadline, it will create problem. With that said, we are almost at the end. So let's take the key takeaways. What's the key takeaways? Cultural awareness. Take care of this. Try to understand each other a little bit. Try to understand your colleague a little bit. Talk to them. Read about him. Maybe learn a little bit of their language. That's also help. I learned Feinafend, okay, when I first came, and it helped a lot. So try to learn. You can also call me to give a session. I'm available, okay? That's also good. Give time to adjust. If you are new to a team, or if a new team member joined, give some time for them to adjust. Don't expect them to work, be productive in the next day or the next week or in a month. Don't do that. It might take more time for them to adjust because they will be coming from a totally different environment. So give time to adjust. Take care of psychological safety. Trust me, it's really important and it will really help you. It's a talk of itself and there are many books available, nice books. There are different talks. Go and take care, watch it. Because if you take care of psychological safety in your team, it will definitely pay off.
Base for everything.
Yes, it's a base for everything. Avoid using us, them. This is something we follow in bank always. Because this creates a separation. Use we. Okay, that is more inclusive. When you are telling about a different team, which is geographically separated, try to use we instead of using us or them. Make space for informal conversations. Okay. Now we are in a digital environment. We all work with teams more. So it's always work. Okay, you go into a meeting, you go to a next meeting. There is less chance of having informal conversation. I really miss the office coffee times. Okay, if you are really in office, you know how it is, right? Those coffee talks. I love it. I miss it. So try to make some space for those informal conversation. Few months back, I sent a message to. I asked one of my colleagues, "How are you?" The same question in Teams, and he immediately replied me, "Just tell me what you want." Just tell me what you want. Okay. I don't want anything. I just want to know how are you feeling. That's where we are working now. It's not about work. We are people. We need to collaborate. So, last point. Don't take anything for granted. Okay, be careful with that. With that said, we are almost early, really early. Thanks. Your feedback matters. Please go through the NLJAG app if you have. It's a nice app. So please go through it, give a rating. You can also connect with me in LinkedIn. That's possible. Yeah, that's the end of any we have plenty of time. Any questions? If you don't ask, I will ask. Okay? Yes, please.
I have maybe one question. Because a lot of the tips that you gave are helpful when the members are in your team. For example, what you do with the team in the Netherlands and a different team in India. Then things like psychological safety are difficult if you're not in the same team.
Yeah, correct. That's where your manager can help. Okay, as a manager, like maybe you cannot help directly on that situation, but you can always give them a chat and see how they are feeling. Make a call with them. That informal conversation will really help. But on that bigger setup, definitely your manager can help. Okay. He can make it, like for example, in a bank, we are really big organization. We make sure that we are in a psychological safe environment in the bank. So we try to do that. We always try to do that. Talk to your manager. Definitely, you see some of these behaviors. Talk to your manager. You can always go to that colleague. That's possible. Go there and talk. And if you see it as a bigger problem, talk to your manager. Try to change something in your team. Because probably you are doing. I can tell you an example. One of my colleagues, he's a really good Java developer. He's really good, but he always finishes stuff very fast. Okay, so there is no way others can pick some task because by the time the task is on the board or he finished it. Okay, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to help anybody. So give feedback. Feedback helps. Thanks. Nice question. Any other question? Anything else? Okay, good. If you have any more question, I will be around, or you can also connect with me. Thanks for being here.